I got my internet back, so I'm actually really thankful that it came back sooner than I expected. We were actually just on the edge to the west of the hurricane that went through, so we got no damage at all, and I am very thankful for that. But I must say that the storm coming through and things related to that actually have put something on my heart that I really wanted to share with y'all today. So hear me out whenever I explain myself. Hear me out all the way through before you judge what I'm saying, and just try to be open-minded to what it is I wanted to share with you today. So if this is your first time joining me, I'm Molly Howze. I'm the founder of HowzeYourHealth.com, and I'm a health coach and a grief mentor specifically for helping grieving women take really good care of themselves. And I do a lot of work with things like mindset, because, oh, sorry, I'm bumping my computer. Because honestly, there's not much else we can do to take care of ourselves if we are not working on our mindset and our beliefs and working through our grief. So there's that. Okay, so real quick, I just wanted to share this. Okay, so many people have been saying, especially as the hurricane was approaching, just praying for it to turn and miss our area. And my thought was, you're praying for it to spare you, but destroy someone else. Okay, so keep that in mind. I feel like the same thing could be said if I were to say that God actually worked this way. If I prayed for God to spare my child, would that mean then that someone else had to lose their child for my child to be spared? Okay, like I said, this is weird, but bear with me. So after the storm, now all these people are saying, I'm so thankful God spared us. He heard our prayers. God heard my prayers, and he didn't send the storm to destroy my house, my community, whatever. So would that mean then that the people in the path of the storm, that God chose not to hear their prayers? Is that what that means? It means that he listened to you, but he didn't listen to them, right? Okay, so my point is, God doesn't work like that. So when I hear people say they prayed, their child was sick, and they prayed for their child, and God heard their prayers and saved their child, does that mean that when my child died, God chose not to answer my prayers? So one of the things that was making me think of this is, if you're not familiar with it, Panama City Beach is known as, and I have family there, so this is not me like judging them, but it's known as a place where people go to party on spring break, right? So it's known as a place that people would consider to be sinful. So people could say that this was God, I don't know, destroying a community because it's a sinful environment. God doesn't work like that, okay? We don't live under Old Testament law anymore, which is a time where God did destroy nations. He did destroy people for their behavior, but that's not how he operates today. And so this is the point, the whole gist, the whole point of what I'm getting at here is that's not how God operates today. If you prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and your child died anyway, that does not mean that God wasn't listening. That does not mean that God was punishing you. That's not how he operates today. And I'm saying this as someone who prayed my brains out for my child to be saved, and she died anyway. And I do not blame God, because I understand that that is not how he operates today. Today, the hurricane went where it went, okay? Yes, my community was spared, but that isn't because we were all praying and God turned the hurricane for us. He doesn't operate like that today. Things are the way they are. People die. Things happen. That's part of life. That is the way that things are set. And our blessings that come from God are spiritual. We can rely on him and lean on him and pray to him for comfort right? And we can have blessings, but physical blessings are blessed on everyone. Think of people you know that are terrible people, but they have tons of money and stuff and they're happy, right? And you think, why are they so blessed? You know, because they're terrible people. But it's because physical blessings like that are physical. They're not spiritual. So I think I made my point. Don't come after me with pitchforks if I wasn't clear what I'm trying to say here. But what I'm getting at is, when we look at someone, you know, we compare two similar situations where it seems, and people would say, God took my child, God spared my child. That's not what happened. God doesn't take our children. Death happens because that's part of life, and accidents happen, and tragedies happen, and horrible things happen. That is part of life. It is not God's will to take our children. It is not God's will to wipe out an entire city from a storm, but that's just part of life. And so what I want to leave you with, the point I'm trying to make is, if we shift our perspective, if we shift our beliefs in how we perceive the way things happen, the way things happen to us or around us, we can actually, have a clearer understanding. This is what's like, this is not me just coming up with this out of thin air. This is what I am working through on my own as well, okay? But we can have a clearer understanding of not so much being, and I've mentioned this before when I talked about mindset, not so much feeling like a victim, right? But recognizing that we have the power to perceive our surroundings and our situation any way we want to. We can choose to work on our healing. We can't bring our loved ones back. I wish we could, right? I absolutely wish we could, but we can't. So what do we do with that, right? We work on our healing, because I feel like, and I want as many women as possible to feel like, you have the ability to have a fulfilling life, to have peace for the rest of your life while you are here. It takes work. It takes so much work. This is not easy by any stretch of the imagination. But to recognize how we perceive things, and the things that we believe, and the things that people say, and the things that we hear that we're inundated with, and they affect how we respond. They affect how we feel. To start thinking of things more, what's the word I'm trying to think of? I wish I could think of my brain. I don't have any notes, y'all. I just came on live because my internet came back on. To think of things in a kind of like we're studying it. You know, we just want to learn. We want to acknowledge it. We want to dig in. We want to understand it, but we're not judging the information that we're getting. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Because this was just bugging me. I mean, it was just really bugging me to hear people saying things that they were saying, and somebody actually recently said something about, about how, God answered our prayers to be spared. And my thought was, you can't tell me there weren't prayerful people in the path of the storm that did not get spared. So how is it that we can claim that we were chosen, right? Because that's not how God operates today. So thank you, Sherry. I appreciate you. I appreciate you hopping on and joining me, and I hope it was helpful. Like I said, this was just something that I had on my heart. I just needed to share with y'all today, and I do plan on, hopefully my internet will stay working. I do plan on trying to come back live tomorrow to chat with y'all about some more deep stuff, because I got a lot of stuff to share with y'all, and I really am just I'm ready to just dig in and give y'all, give you everything I can possibly give you to help you start shifting your perspective and start healing and start feeling like you're not crazy, because we're not crazy, right? We're just grieving women, and we're just trying to figure it out. So that's all I have for you today. If you catch the replay, comment, let me know if this was helpful, and I love y'all so much, and we'll chat soon.